Oh, the beautiful art of manifestation, where dreams get to come true, your ideas, your creativity, your expression gets to be illuminated for the whole world to see. Now, how do we really get to manifest? As long as it comes from your soul, it's going to be so much more worth it and potent and a longer stream of consciousness for you to really build upon. Because this is going to be happening, I'd probably say, for like a good portion of your life. And of course, there'll be other things, but you're going to be able to find the main entree, okay, the main course of your manifestations that are somewhere bottled up right here in your soul, in your heart, in your body, in the subconscious mind. And to have those out, those are the ones that we really get to be acting upon. Manifesting from ego, that's something for me, I used to do a lot. Like, oh, can I get so many people today to buy my products? Oh, I want this job of like X, Y, and Z because I thought it was like normal and the American dream and what I was really supposed to do. So when it came from like my logical, mathematical, scientific, logical, egoic mind, yeah, it didn't work out in the best ways for me. It really did not. But when I was able to figure out like what was coming from my heart, it meant so much more. I was so more aligned with what was happening. And I was also like way more happy and just present with what I was doing. And I have so many examples to share about this, but whatever it may be, see what manifestations you're having right now, which one of them came from your heart, that really came from your body. It was like a full fuck on yes. And then maybe something else is coming up right now that really wants to be expressed, to be shown from your heart. It's giving you that nudge, that like, let's go, man. We got this. Put it out there. Go. Take action. Believe in it. See it. Feel it. See it get bigger and more extravagant. And then even see it in every stage that you can as well. Because like, you get to have the whole timeline be built. I like saying streamline of consciousness, but the timeline is another way to say that. So like for me, when I was younger, I would manifest some things from ego, like I wanted a job that was in corporate. I don't think my soul wanted me to be in corporate, but my mind did. And I said, okay, corporate job, business development or sales, be 30 minutes or less away from my house to drive there and back. Good coworkers, 40K a year plus commission, and they can feed us, give us free food of some sort. And about 3 or 4 months went by. I'm on Indeed, I'm on ZipRecruiter, I'm telling people I need a job, I'm on LinkedIn. And one day I get a phone call. And this dude's like, hey, we found your resume online. I was like, cool. Where'd you find my resume? And he goes, we just found your resume online. Okay. All right. Had me in for an interview. Long story short, I got the job. And it was every single thing that I asked for. 30 minutes or less from my house. It was actually 30 minutes exactly on GPS. They fed us every Friday morning, and we got free coffee and tea at any point we wanted to during the work week. It was 40K a month or 40K a year. Damn, 40K a month. Wow, I wish. I would have stayed at that job forever. Or maybe just get a lot of bank and then get out. Really, really nice coworkers who genuinely cared, and it was in business development. I literally asked for everything. I lasted 3 months there and I got fired because I didn't really want to be there. The first month was great. The second month, it was just slow. And the third month, I'm like, I don't really think they have an idea of what's going on. And then I just got so distracted and I was like, I'm not interested in this. So I just kind of winged it as long as I could. And yeah, they got rid of me. But it's okay. But I will say this, when you manifest from your heart, Like one of the things was when I was on swim team in the summer when I was like 14, I always wanted to be a lifeguard. I wanted to sit in the chair. I wanted to go off the water slide. I wanted to clog the water slide with the lifeguards after hours. I wanted to get in the swim races against the other pools. Like there's just so many amenities and you got paid to do it, be out in the sun and tan. Like it was just one of my favorite things I've always wanted to do. And I remember one day we were at swim meet and, I would immerse myself in this. Like I was always at the pool. I was always talking to the lifeguards. I was on swim team. The head manager knew who I was. And, so like that's one of the biggest things about manifestation. Can you be in the environment in which you want to be in? It may not be the total end goal, but can you get something similar, gain some experience, get noticed and recognized and see how that can really blossom for you. And if you really do like it, you're going to learn so much more about yourself when you take your manifestations seriously, but also learn how to have fun. We were on swim team, so we were having fun. And there was one Saturday morning we're at swim meet, and I remember I was like with a few other guys that are like my age, and I saw the head manager. She was all the way at the other end of the pool, and I saw her looking at us. And, I'm not spiritual at this time by any means, but like looking back on it, I had this thought and I was like, oh, she's about to ask us to be lifeguards this summer. And then lo and behold, she walked around the pool and she was talking to me and two other guys. She pulled us aside and she goes, hey, I got wind that you guys want to be lifeguards, or I at least think that you three should be lifeguards. And we were all like so happy and ecstatic. We're like, yeah, of course. That would mean the world. And lo and behold, like we got the training done and, we showed up, we passed everything, and then we got the job. And I worked 1 year before like the child labor laws. Like you have to be 15, but we all started at 14. So, I was like 14 and a half. But it was so cool. And it was just part of like that whole like manifestation, right? And this was before I even knew what manifestation was, right? Because like nowadays people are writing it down, they're doing vision boards, and then sometimes they don't even immerse themselves in it. But like back then, when I was manifesting stuff, I was like, okay, I want to work at a candy shop. My mom took me to the candy shop she worked at all the time. And then I got hired at another one like 2 years later when I could work a little bit closer to 15. It was a part-time job, got paid under the table, so it was cool. And like it worked. I didn't have to write anything down. It was just like, yo, I really want this. And then someone's like, okay, you got it. It's amazing. Now, this is where it gets a little bit more interesting because like when it came to jobs, it was very easy for me to get this, and when you start like gaining experience on manifesting things, you start to like want to have more fun with it. So when I was like 21, I really wanted a girlfriend. And I've never really had a deep relationship or deep intimacy with like any woman, to be completely honest. Never really had like a real girlfriend. Like I've had a few flings, but nothing serious. And I remember being in Little Italy in Cleveland, Ohio, and I was like, I want a short, sweet, beautiful Italian woman who loves everything that I do and loves me for who I am and for what I look like. And for some reason, I would tell the whole world. I would tell everybody, my neighbors, my parents, my friends, even strangers. And people just saw like how excited I was and like how realistic it sounded. Not many people were just like, yeah, right, dude. Because some people would, be like, yeah, right. Okay, yeah, you're full of crap, you're full of shit. And, some people would even do a facade, be like, oh yeah, bro, I got you. Yeah, you got this. And in the back of their mind, they're like, this dude's crazy. But it didn't sound too crazy. It sounded realistic. So another thing to point off is sometimes you don't want to tell people your manifestations, but sometimes you do, because if you don't, then they're just here. Sometimes if you keep building the energy and you expand it, then it's like in the other realms of consciousness, other people's awareness to then help you. Because then if something happens, like what if one of my friends was just like, oh my God, Alexander, I know a short, sweet, beautiful Italian woman. She might love you for who you are and what you do and what you look like, you know? That's not how it happened, but you never know. You never know how it could happen. And that's one of the most beautiful things about manifestation. Let the how create itself. You just get to put in the work, put in the energy, put in the thoughts, the reactions, the actions, the best you can, and just pray that the outcome will happen. But this was before I knew all that. So I'm just telling the world, like, I want her, like, and everything. I'm happy about it. 4 months later, I'm at the pool, the place where I really manifested wanting to work at. That same pool. I'm lifeguarding, I'm chilling. I look all the way at the other end of the pool. I look up, and there was a short, sweet, beautiful Italian woman who literally bent down like this, pulled her hair back, and smiled. And I was like, it blew me away. And at first, I didn't even recognize that my manifestation was that. I was just so enthralled with she's hot. She is beautiful. And then I got her to come over here, and then we talked. I got her Facebook name, and then we dated for the next 5 years. It's impeccable. It's astounding how powerful manifestation is. But that came from my heart, because I was so happy and so thrilled with it, and I was excited. It made me wanted to seek it. I wasn't too thrilled on the corporate job. I didn't really want that. I wanted it, but then I didn't. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't a full body, a full heart. Yes, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. I just knew I had to get something, and it was just the only thing I really wanted. I could think of at that time. So, yeah, and sometimes it happens out of nowhere. Before I even knew what manifestation was, I needed a part-time job. Okay, I'm gonna go deeper into this because there's things that I've learned now. When I was in community college, my dad told me, yo, if you're gonna live in this house and you're going to school, you need a part-time job. You're not gonna live here if you don't have a part-time job. And I said, damn, okay, I can't just chill and relax going into college. I gotta do other things. And I was like, man, but what am I gonna do? And I didn't search for a part-time job. I knew I had to get one. I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna get a part-time job. I gotta get one. And I just kept telling myself that, I'm gonna get one, it's gonna happen, or it's gotta happen. One time I was smoking marijuana, cannabis, Santa Maria, with some homies. And then I didn't really tell anyone that I wanted a part-time job. I think I told 2 of my friends, and they gave me some ideas, and I was like, not those. No, not those. But I got a phone call that same night. It was probably about a week later, a week from when my dad told me that. And then a week later, a buddy of mine calls me from another school district, and he goes, yo, Fox, what you doing? I was like, man, I'm smoking, chilling, what's up? And he goes, dude, I'm about to leave for college in the next few weeks. And I said, oh, yeah, I know you're going to Connecticut or something. And he goes, yeah, bro, but I might need your help. And I was like, what do you mean? And he goes, well, I'm leaving my part-time job that I've had all throughout my last 2 years of high school. I said, oh, no way. Bro, I'm actually looking for a part-time job right now. And he goes, oh, dude, I think you're gonna like this. And I said, what is it? It's a valet job. And I said, so you just drive fancy cars and just park them? And he goes, yeah, it's great. It's dope. You can make money. You get to run, meet some really cool people. And you don't work too much. And I said, okay, great. 2 weeks later, got the interview, got hired on that day. And then I worked there for the next 3 years. See, that was impeccable. Not that my ego didn't really want to work, right? But because like I was forced to get one, pretty forced, not like 100%, but mostly, it just happened, you know? Because like I asked for it, and I was like, well, I don't want to piss off my dad. And it'd be great to make some money, but what can I really do? And I was so confused on like what I would do because I didn't want to do food or retail or basically anything like that. And I didn't know what else I could do. I didn't want to do a front desk job either. The valet was perfect for me. Everything that I needed. Because, lifeguarding was only summertime. So, yeah, pretty far out. So, anyways, now one of the biggest things I've realized in manifestation is that when we are calling in stuff now, because like energies have changed, vibrations, frequencies, mindsets, right? And because we've gone through so much in our life that when these new things are coming in, these old things must fall away, okay? Because they're old vibrations and they can't stay. Like if things are like vibrating here and then these things are vibrating faster, there's just like a misconnection there. I don't know if I can get this hand to, like they're not going to sync up together. It's like, in this case, opposites are not attracting here. So these things need a place to stay and to vibrate and to grow. And these higher vibrations are going to push out the lower ones. And it's uncomfortable when you're letting go of the old. It is not a fun time sometimes until you actually recognize that like the low ones just really do have to go. But your ego, logical, statistical, mathematical, scientific mind is going to do everything it can to hold on to the old because it's familiar, it's comfortable, and it's just the same things that it's always known, and nothing changes, right? Sometimes it doesn't like change. It's uncomfortable, it's scary, it can be dark. It's like you think your life's falling apart, but we forget that we're calling in these new things when these things are happening. And I am getting so much better at it. There was times like where I didn't even recognize that it was like happening. I'm like, man, something's wrong with me. Why am I feeling so dark and down, But it was because I was calling in these new things. And they need a place to grow, to mature, to be nourished, and to like really blossom, to assist you and to assist others. So one of the things that I was manifesting when I was about to leave for Texas the first time, technically second time, it's a long story. I wanted to host Reiki and meditation events. And I had hosted 2 in Ohio at my church. They went amazing. And then I moved to Austin because I was like, I know it's time. I know I can do this. I don't know where, but I know I have to be in Texas. That's all I knew because God was telling me Texas. It's another story, synchronicities. I'll touch base on that later down the line. When I got to Austin, I didn't know anybody who could help me. Didn't know anybody, but I got one lead. A place called Casa de Luz. A spiritual community center, a beautiful vegan restaurant, juice bar, massage people, and cacao bar, like all that stuff. It's a pretty awesome place, I won't lie. And I like found the manager and I was like, hey, I do Reiki and meditations. And they're like, do you want a spot? Do you want to teach a class or host an event or something? And I said, yeah, please. This is why I'm here. And they're like, okay, cool. And don't get me wrong. I've never moved out of the state. I've never lived on my own before in my entire life. And that was the first time at 28 is when I moved to Texas. And it was scary. It was uncomfortable. Sometimes it was dark, but not always. It was still fun. It was still a lot of love. I got the tan almost every day. I love being tan. Like I'm in Ohio right now. It's not sunny all the time. And yeah, but I was able to get that so fast because like I trusted my soul. I trusted the synchronicities that God placed before me. And I just went ahead and did it because I was like, man, I only live once. this sounds like an incredible opportunity, even though I didn't really have anything set up. Like most people would be like, oh, I need the job, I need the house, I need the security, I need a paycheck or two before I can like fully move in. Like I didn't have any of that. I had like one house and I literally got that house like a month before I even moved in. Like had the had the interview over the phone. I signed the contract that she gave me through email, read every single word, even had someone else read it to make sure there was no like loopholes or any bullshit in it. And that happened. So like I needed a place to live and it happened. Not in the, I wanted it to be sooner, but I'm glad it worked out that way. Because sometimes when it gets closer to the deadline, you're starting to like freak out and get out of alignment. And you're like, okay, what's going on? Is this really supposed to be happening? Like all of that stuff's supposed to be in there, but it's like, just find here, be calm, be centered, find alignment, and things work out for you. It's truly astounding in that way. So, and nowadays people are, I mentioned this earlier, people are writing down their manifestations, they're doing vision boards, they're doing vision quest within their own mind. They are doing rituals like, candle ceremonies, or sometimes they even do like yoga for them too. And they just put some action out there. They try to immerse themselves in the environment, in a situation, and it's really amazing. So that's like one of the most powerful things about manifestation. But you also can't forget that when you're letting go, and it can feel, as my one friend says, crunchy, like tied down, constricted, heavy. Oh God, it's uncomfortable. Help me, get me out. I need to be out. So yeah, just a little something about manifestations. I've had so many work out in my favor. Almost every single thing I've manifested has come true, except getting gifted a Bentley. I don't have the room or space for that yet, but that's my future dream. Someone's going to gift me a Bentley, a car, that car. I don't really care what color it is, but I keep imagining it's going to be like green, like dark green. So, or black. Black would be cool too. So it's cool to have things like down the line. Like, why not? Like, what is something so far out that maybe you wouldn't even imagine that you would want? Wish it. And don't worry about the how. I don't know how a Bentley's going to come to my name, come to me, be shown itself to me. I don't know. But I've wanted that dream ever since I was like 11. Like, I think Beamer, Benz, or Bentley, that song. And then like, I played that song in the car. And then like next to me was a Bentley that rolled up. And I was like, that's the car I want. It is so cool to me. It's amazing. And I'm like, someone's going to gift me one. I don't have to pay for it. Someone's going to gift me a Bentley. Like, I know it. I feel it. And I don't know how. And I'm okay with that. Because I don't need it right now. But it's going to be later. So, the powerful stuff of manifestation. It all starts within you. As long as it comes from the heart and it's pure, it's compassionate, it's joyful, it's exciting, and it makes you feel alive, that's the magic. That's the secret sauce right there. And even if you haven't done the healing or the shadow work, you're okay to still manifest whatever you want. I will say when you do the shadow work though, more things will start to be easier to manifest because like your channel will be more open, it'll be more fluid, you're gonna be more present, and you're gonna start to want bigger and better things, not just for yourself, but for the world. And I think ultimately that's where we really get to be as this one unity of consciousness. We really get to like help each other, and you're gonna start manifesting bigger things. Oh, I will say this. So last thing, one of the biggest things I've ever manifested was not something for just myself. It was something for like probably a good million, maybe 2 million people. Okay. When I got fired from my corporate job and I didn't have health insurance and I had Crohn's disease at that time, and I was like, oh my God, how am I going to get my medicine? Like, I don't have insurance. I'm going to have to pay out the pocket, out the wazoo for this medicine like every other month. And, I cried to my mom. I was like, "Mom, like, oh my God, I think my life's over now. Like, I don't know how I'm gonna keep going. I can't get medicine. Like, this Crohn's disease is debilitating as fuck." And then she called one of her friends, and one of her friends helped me get on Medicaid. And then I didn't have to pay anything for the medicine. So thank God that happened. I was so grateful. And one of the restrictions for Medicaid is you can only make like 12, $1,300 a month. Like that was it. Like you would get flagged or something like that with your bank if you would, you know, try to, do more from like a job. So like I had a job that was paying me just about $1,300 a month just to work part-time. And that's all I could do, like legally. I had other sources of income, thank God, and my egoic self. And at one point I was like, this is bullshit. We can only make $1,300 a month and we get basically free healthcare. I was like, no, we got to make like $2,000 a month or like 2,300. And like I said it, I was like, we're going to be able to make $2,200 a month if we're on Medicaid. For all the people in Ohio, everyone's going to make $2,200 or more. And like, I was so angry and so pissed off about it. I kept chanting it and chanting it. This is when I knew about manifestation. So I kept pushing it and pushing it. And 1 year later, I actually looked online and I think it's at $2,300 net right now. People on Medicaid, they can make per month in the state of Ohio, at least. I wish I would have did it for the whole country, but I was just so mad at Ohio and I felt like less than and debilitated with it. I was like, no, we're going to do this. And it happened. I'm pretty sure it's 2365 or 2265. And I manifested that like 3 years ago. It was like one of the coolest things. So you never know how you can really help others with your own manifestations. Because like in my eyes, it was like for the best and good for everyone. Like those people will be able to like place more food on the table. They're going to be able to pay their rent easier. They're not going to have to like worry about totally living paycheck to paycheck. Probably some still do depending on their situation. And I'm not trying to doubt that by any means, but they had more money in their pocket to do things, to even enjoy life a little bit more, because like we live in this capitalistic society. Money is still a thing. But that was one of the coolest things I've ever manifested, was helping like a few million people get some more money in their pocket by our own government. The government's supposed to help people. It's literally in the preamble, the Constitution. And yet, that's not happening. Has not happened in a while. I don't care what side you're on. I don't even believe in the sides anymore. I'm just like, yo, what is the best for humanity? What is the absolute best and greatest and highest good for all? For everyone. So, yeah, that's my take on manifestation. I give you guys so much love, care, grace, and I'm in full pledge for your manifestations to come fully true. Don't stop believing. Manifest the best, and look forward to seeing you again soon. All right, namaste, y'all.